Welcome everyone to day 9 of the C Bootcamp organized by Creators Garage with the motto of Team. Together, everyone achieves more. It is a great pleasure for me to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Yogesh Yadav. He has command in various programming and scripting languages, who is going to cover writing to a file and closing a file, file handling, and two questions on file handling too. You are advised to read all rules and regulations mentioned in the chat box. You are requested to maintain the decorum. Any kind of wrong behavior will not be tolerated, and the person committing it will be no longer part of our C boot camp. We have a surprise for you all at the ending, so please stay tuned. Sir, please take over and teach us. Happy learning, everyone.
Hello everyone, I am Yogesh Yadav. I hope you all are doing great. So I will just start the meeting. Just tell me when my screen is visible. Is my
Yes, sir.
screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. So I welcome you all in our C boot camp, and today is our day 9 of the boot camp going on. Just we are the at the end of our stage. So I will be teaching you regarding the topic of file management in C. So, starting off, I want to know, like, do you know why do we need a file? We make files, in our programs, we write them, and why do we need a file? Anyone interested can, what
To
is it?
run a new project, any kind of project, we need a file.
Yeah. Yeah, great answer. Sure. So the thing is, what we do while we make a pointers or different files, we keep our data or our information safe. So that's why we need file management system in our coding language. And when you go to industries, it is very necessary you know these things because file manager is one of those things that you don't. You gain it more by experience. You explore different functions and everything with time and by writing different syntaxes and then working on it and moving on. So how we do it, like files are we use to read and access data anytime from our hard disk. So basically, how our hard disk stores data is like in two memories, that is one is the volatile memory and the other is the non-volatile memory, right? So in volatile memory what happens, it only maintains the computer storage, that only maintains data while the device is powered. uh, do you guys know any example of volatile memory?
So
Anyone?
RAM is a volatile memory.
Yeah, exactly. Random access memory, which requires constant power supply, but when the power is cut out, all our data in RAM get lost. So the on the other hand, we have our non-volatile memory, and which retains our data, and when the power cuts, and example can be just opposite to it, hard drives or pen drives. Those are our non-volatile memory, which retains the data even when they are not plugged in. So we can retrieve data from non-volatile memory and we cannot from volatile memory. So this is the basic difference you should know when you are working, and how you are saving your data or any information in memories. And then you go key, how now let's come to files. When we come to files, those are also two types. So one can be your simple text file or anything, and then we have our binary files in which we store those information which need to be secure or which need to be compact. In text files, those are like simple. If you are making in your opening on your notepad and making a writing on a text editor, you are just putting your functions, read and write, and you are putting your information and then just storing it. Everyone can access it, but you don't get so much more functions you can explore in that. That is very limited. But when you come to binary files are like more secure, and you can input various other functions so that you can implement them and you can show them to others, and you can define its access points and everything. That's come to your two different type of files. Coming on our last point, these compilers or vendors which you use, Right now if I am using OX or any usual visual code or anything other as, they have a different sets of library functions that we need to implement. And it is very important like what functions we are using in our code part. That all depends on your coding styles, how you are developing or writing your syntax. You can get in reference from various other websites, but ultimately when you learn a coding language you need to develop your own coding style. How it is useful, how you can create shortcuts and write code more efficiently, that totally depends on you. So let's come on our C files. So while we are collecting different records, secondary storage, that is our non-volatile memory, we are keeping all those records there so that they are retained. If we don't do so, we will not have any storage for data when the power cuts off. You know the basic difference, right? So other point is when we use our files for storing different information which can be processed by our program. So when we write our program, we are putting a file, and files we are writing our codes. So the computer is going to understand the binary part of the codes, and we will be just writing in NLPs and various others. We will be assigning that code into a particular location of memory. And to keep it permanently stored, we will be using it transferring to our hardware or non-volatile memory, or we can directly put in our binary files that will be secured, and they are also more compact when we use them. So coming on what operations we can use. Once you have your file done, you have your basic header file or your code part, but you are assigning, you are storing that data, but you are accessing it through your code only, right? So we need different operations so that to explore those files or make or append those files. So these are various functions written on, as you can see. So first of all, creating a new file, that is easy. Like you are creating a file just to keep your data stored in, right? Then you have to call the file to your location, and then you have to append or read or write, you have to use it. So other functionalities only arises once you create file and then you call in. So it is important you write the exact syntax, you have your exact file name pointer, so that you can access them and then do these functions, reading file, writing file. So all these work in in step by step process. And as you can know, like I can simply tell you how you can do this. Like if you are writing code in C, right, you first will create a variable, you are creating the file. If I supposedly write it file just only, so then you are going to call in the file f open, you can use that function. After that, make sure when you are calling your function, you have this assigned location for it. Generally, as I will show you in examples only, we generally use null, that is the zeroth place in our memory, you can say. And then we implement like printfs or fscanfs, and then we move or retrieve data, then we seek how we can how much data we are storing and how people are accessing it, all you can see afterwards. Finally, the most important part comes at closing a file, because once you have opened your file need to be saved. It automatically saves when you use any your compilers or various other things, but you use the code f close so that you can save your file, and can the file data can be retrieved in afterwards, because you don't want your program to be running and file to be accessed all the time. That will just create some random memory again and again. And you can see like when we use online compilers, various default files just get every time when you access your code part, right? So let's write a one program to open a file. Okay, I will just show you. Right. So this is a one single simple program. I have written it already. I will show you by running it. So here it is how we access the file, and this is we are using our standard include stdio.h memory library, and then we are calling the main function. Afterward, here you can see I have assigned the file with ftpr. Right. So this is the file pointer. So what does a file pointer do? Right. So coming to that part, when we are working on files, we have to declare a pointer, right? Here we have, And by declaring the pointer, what we are handling, we are asking the pointer to handle and keep track of our files after being accessed, because you need to know every time your file is being accessed. And because for the safekeeping of your data, we determine it with the pointer, because it increase our feasibility of working, and then we have the independency of working on it file by any time. Also, we also get access when we determine our file pointer, because this is very important. You determine it in right syntax and then run the code. After that, here the code part, you can see I am opening one file, data.dat. But here you can see I have not made data.dat, and I am putting it in a read form. So let's talk about this syntax part only, right? So ftpr is our file pointer. Then I am applying the function fopen. Here is our file name. You can see I don't have any file by name of data.dat, but I have like assigned it a name. But we can see, when we will run it, you can see what it will do. And I am opening it in a read mode. So when we are opening a file in our library, what we have to determine is uh, we have to determine the mode of how we want to open it. This mode determines how we are going to access the file, and then what purpose the file, our uh, when we go down, our code will do. So we have to determine the mode first and then implement our code part, right? So we have any file with the name of text name, right? It will definitely have some content. Okay. After that, we will have to determine its location, and you can use the path of the file and then the mode. So mode can be, there are various mode like read, write, or append. You can see, I will show you in different slide also. So this is how you write it. And then once I have declared this, we move on further to in the code. I have assigned if statement, then I'm going fptr nil. Why I'm using nil here? Because nil is like default 0th place of our memory, and it terminates accordingly when we are not using the file. So by default we use null, or you can also use any other thing. And after that, we are just closing our code part. We are, once we have access, we are closing, so that the safekeeping of the code. And once if I run the code, you can see what I was wanted to run, it automatically get runs, because from the 0th location we don't have anything saved with the name of data.dat, so it is printing error. But for example, if I show you and I make one file name data.dat, and after that I run my code, it will definitely show nothing part, right? Because we have our file, it is just getting close. So it is returning back, and the statement gets in else mode, and then the our program doesn't run. And if I delete this file and run again, we don't have such file, so it will at our 0th location, so it will print the error that we don't have this file open, right? Moving on, let's talk about the mode part more. So these are the modes that which we are using to write. As you can see here, I have used the read code just by syntax using small r, and these are the various modes with the meaning. And there are various other modes. You can also read, write memory, or any other thing just by using RB or WB, which will read binary or write binary. These modes work according to this program you are writing afterwards. Okay, so have a look how we use W plus R plus A plus to append plus read. So these are how our modes get work in play. Now, coming to the reading part, once we have opened the file using the right pointer and using the fopen function, then we direct us to if we want to get information from the file, or we have to append or write information to the file. So these two functions work kind of similarly, but they have different functionalities when we put strings or long integer values. I will show you by program itself. So once you come to this, open your file and come to the reading part. So how you will proceed, you have to use particular functions, and there are three functions generally used: fscanf, fgetc, fgets, right? So these do different these have different functionalities according to the you know how we are using our pointers and everything. So fscanf it only gets stops reading after encountering the first space character. For example, I am reading some code part and I have in that file, if I create a text file, and I am there is some information like Dave hello. Okay, so what will fscanf function will do when we will call this file by creating a pointer, and then we will put to read mode. What it will do, it will just read you this part. You have assigned value in your string, either it can be 34, 64 according to your needs, and then it will just read this part. That is because it will get stops just after your first character space. And if I have this part, so now this will read the whole thing, Dave underscore hello, and your whole part. And similarly, this works on different. If I have something else written here, it will just stop after my first encounter space. So that's how fscanf function works. Coming on fgetc, so it only reads a single character from a file. Now, when you are storing your data, it can generally be in your data types like string or long integer value or integer values. That can be anything. But when you are, sometimes you need fgetc or sometimes you need fgets. So these have different functionalities according to the demand of the user. So the basic difference is here, but the thing is, when you read fgetc, function reads only a character and then ends because of the case of error that we called is EOF. So how that works is, uh, it reads character by character and goes to the stream of string, right? But in fgets, the function allows you to ring the string the whole in a whole stream. So if I have written any line like this is new world, and similarly the whole string will be read, the stream will be completed by string is completing by taking fgetc will be taking character wise, and fgets will take and read the whole string. So how this is will how you will print in your code. And if you are taking information your code, generally we use fgets so that we don't have an issue, and then we don't have to find the pointers or anything else. We can just directly implement our code. uh, Moving on, let's talk about with some examples. So here I have a simple code for reading a file. Uh, Again, we are defining the pointer and then we are uh, calling it to a characters. We are assigning what type of data we need to store in it. Then here is my file name. You can put the path of your file or you directly the file name it if it's again in same workspace. So that depends on how you are using it. You need to call it or you just have in your workspace, then you can directly call it. So I have already made one file but record.txt, right? And if I run this code, what will the code do? I am printing enter your name. It is taking name from the user, and then I am scanning it, my what I have been written and the console. And after that I am storing that value by writing from here to the our file. So let's run this and see how it works. So I am writing Dev and pressing enter. So now our coming to this part, right? So our here our name is also being read from the file. And if I will check, see, so this is how we append the name or read content from our files. I think there was something else written in the code part. If I clean it up and then run, right? So if you have something else written, then it will append it directly, because it always depend upon uh, our mode, how we are using. I am using R plus, that means I am reading plus appending our code part. So that's why something else was written, so it added completely, right? ESH was added on. So you need your file clean, and then you are appending values according to the mode you are using, and then running the code to read out what you have written or what you have entered. You can see it is getting stored. And similarly, different with using running the code, you will each time will get and get your data will get stored here only. So this was the fscanf function. So the main thing was it only stores after the space. If you are reading it, then it gets closed. Now when we will read file from a fgetc, okay, fgetc, right? So here is my code. Same, we are opening the file, and then the file is here, test.txt. I've already made the same file. And then when will I will run the code, it will read out what I have written in code. So if you check, I have written what's up in my text file, and it will just directly read out what I have written in the console. So in fgetc, it will read the uh, complete code part, not just it will not just stop after the space part only. So that's the difference between fscanf and fgetc. Okay, moving on to the next part. Let's see how fgetS works here. So here is my file. I'm calling test.txt. Again, I'm reading from my file only. So there need to be something written. And here I have written, hello everyone, stay safe and learn. I hope you are doing great, right? So how I'm implementing and reading this part in console? You can see here, I am just reading the string characters, and there was no space between. I'm using underscore in the text file also. So it has read it completely to the exclamatory point. But after that, how it has implemented to stay safe and learn, it is calling back our from the characters, and then the file is being again called, and we are printing it to a buffer statement. You can use buff generally, to get that your location is null or the zeroth location need to be terminated. So when you don't write null terminated in your string, generally the whole strings get printed out. But zeroth location we by use default, we try to terminate in on null location only, and that's how we run our code to write in a beautiful manner only. So once you are scanning file, after that you have to write your file, or when you have called your file, you have to append something. You have to add data and store it for afterward processes. So right, in projects generally, when we have to use file, we make one file pointer and use everything in it. The data keeps on storing our each uh, at its domains get added there only. So that's how we implement it, and you continuously uses in future. So I will just explain it through the code part only. Right. So starting with the printf statements, we are again calling a file with the file name of it beforehand. Then we are printing our age and name here, and here is the fun part. So when you have entered your name, you have that in your console only, but you are taking that info through storing it in a string, and then writing. You can see I am using the mode writing and writing then into your file. So you need to assign the file location, and afterwards you write your according to the data you are adding on. Like here I am taking it in a string, but here I am taking it into an integer, or I can write ld to make it a long integer. That's depend upon how the user needs to enter the data. And again, this will go in every code. We need to close our pointer so the data gets stored out. So when I will run this part, I will enter the name, and after that my age, and the whole data will get stored in the code.txt. You can see. So that's how you can store data and keep it by adding different locations, or using the null pointer. You can also assign the characters or various other things in your code part. Okay. So this was the printf statement, using by printf statement. Again, when you are writing the part, you can do it in different, but you need the a file pointer for each one of them, and that argument needs to be in printf, except anything will not work on. Okay. So we will have to write the file in also in a written form. So we need this mode according to our code part. So don't forget about this. This is very important syntax when you are handling files, right? So now let's get to fputc. So when you used to write into open files, but it writes a single character at time. So what happens, you write character of values into argument, and what do c do, it the output comes to be a stream, but the stream doesn't get to be printed similarly, it goes on in single values. If I show you with this with an example, okay, uh, here again, all the codes I have written here are very similar to each other. You don't need to worry about it. Those are very simple, but you have to create your own style when you are handling with files. So let's run the program. Now what is happening here, I'm calling again record.x in append form, and then I am entering of my data. So I am printing that I will write some name or characters here, but it will not get terminated on the last place only, right? So how this will work, it will terminate at n minus 1 location only. So if I write something, sorry, and I am writing one null n minus 1 location here only, that I am taking is y, you can see. So what it will print in my record, it will print only dev, because it gets stops at n minus 1 location, and the y location here we are putting will be a waste, because it append a null character to terminate the string, because without that the string will read on, but we need a null character so that you can show data with a n minus 1 locate at a n minus 1 string, right? But what then we get how we use fput s function. So for that, what we have to do, we have to write the string s to the output, but you don't have to write null character strings. Before we were writing y as a null character, but when we use put s, we don't need a null character to terminate the string. It will get terminated just after the pointer stops, that is our the nth location and nth location of our string in our string. So let's see one
Sir, can
example
you
of that also.
explain? Sir,
Yeah,
can you explain me again the why as a null character that part?
yeah. So here, what is happening here, that we are using y just to end, because f get c function works only when we have n minus 1 character in our string. You know, we have one stream of strings, like I write a whole line in here, and that can be this is new to the world, right? But how that the storing part will work only when we have n minus 1th, and the last word will be cancelled out, because it goes on by character. Sometime when you use f put c function, put s function, it goes not by character, it completes read out the whole stream of strings, right? But when you use put c function, this generally use when we have to store little values, and we have some useless value in our end, we are going to use f put c function. Why? Because it will go single character by character, it will keep storing them in different locations, and then we will be getting our data in the our file only. So that's why we are using one null character, so that it gets terminated before our main data part. We don't want to lose our data, that's why we are using it as a one null character. Okay. And when we you do this in f put c function, so it will directly print it to the end only. If I show you here, I have created one example. Now here you will see how much I will write the stream string. It will all generate one different location for our string. It will not go by character, it will just directly store those values. You can see here, right? So f put c functions doesn't needs a null character to terminate the string, but f put s function needs one null character to our store the value. Okay. So is the doubt clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Moving on. So I have shown you the example during the difference only how we are using fprintf to terminate the whole our string without anything. It only stops reading when it encounters space in your code part. You are using fputc. It only goes on by character, and it will need one a null character to terminate your string, because it doesn't read all your stream or string in single thing. And then we use fputs when we have large amount of data we have to read out from our storage. Then we are going to use this, and it doesn't needs any null character to run, right? So moving on, let's talk about the various functions to access a file. Once you have gone through all the modes, or the binary ones or the normal ones to read or write your functions, then you come to the access to how you can the functions that can access your files. We have used fopen to open the file, then fprintf. These I have discussed all. So these are the new ones right here. So f write, I think there should not be any problem how we are writing the using the write function in our, and then we are storing the values in our string, right? So fscanf function, we are reading it out loud, and then entering, the user is entering the data and then storing it, right? So after that, there are few more functions that we need to discuss. They also are getting used because once we are dealing with large amount of data, like these all comes when fopen fzone, when we are just using small amount of data. And once you have a great record of data, then you need a file that need to be accessed at a specific position, or you need to access it through a loop. So it will go loop, and loop by loop it will take a lot more time if you are need to access one particular record of persons, not just single record. And then you have to go you have to write such a code that goes loop by loop, step by step, and it will take a lot of operation time. But we can minimize that time by using these functions. That functions are fseek, fof, ftell, remind. There are various other functions also, but it all determines your how the user need to access their data. And when you have a lot of data to be accessed, so just to cut out the operation time, we need to use fseek function or ftell functions or fo functions, so that it can we can know directly where the position of our required data in our file we need is exactly located. So now to make things easier, the particular data can be done through fseek function. You can read it out. So how, as the name suggests, it seeks the cursor to the given record. So supposedly we have our data file, but we need the location of where we are storing this data file. And if we have a pile of data entries there, so we need to find out which entry we are looking for, right? So for that we will use fseek function. And let me show you this by an example here, right? So here is my code part. Let's discuss this. It is simple, just like other codes. It is directly telling you how we are using when we are making the file pointer. The file pointer one declared, we are using a pointer to pin on. We are using the fopen function to open our file. So I don't have any file named info.txt, right? And we are calling it in w plus mode, means we do write or read plus write the file we are accessing, right? Then we are putting one information, we are writing it that this is fseek. So I am just creating an example in my file pointer, and then I am going to open it and then store my value. So here f get ch, this is important part. This is when we are talking about the location of our pointer, where we want to store it, or how in how our data is arranged. Then you have to determine how you have to write fseek per function in our code part. So let's run this. So this the error is generating. Let's assign one value. Let's see, I'm assigning this a value of 5, and then run my code part. So you can see my file is getting created, and as I have appended in the right mode, I am writing this is fseek. After that, I am printing from where I want to get my data, and then get printed in my console. So in code part, I am seeking exact location. If I am writing 5, if I do this 0, the whole after file seek will get printed out. But it only depends on how we are using the pointer or the exact location we need to get, and that after that, all the data after that will get printed out. So if I run, the whole thing will get printed. This is fseek. If I am storing this in a file, this is like small statement. And if my file has a lot of information and I know I need to access data afterwards this, or I need the particular this to this type of data, then I will use fseek function, and it will uh, help me reduce the operation time, and also it will be more efficient to work on. Beside, I am just creating one loop, or just like before when we were calling out function by creating loops, or writing them to print out what is in the file and then accessing the, like, here I have written like small data whatsapp, then the it was working through a loop, and it was printing the whole thing, and afterwards it was closing it, right? But when you have a lot of data, then you can't handle such thing. You need to use the function fseek, and it will just help you determine your cursor and then run the code and get the particular information in no time, right? So after fseek we have f4 statements. So these are also interesting ones. So we use them to find whether the file of the pointer reaches to the end or not. If we have a lot of data and we need to access it all, so you can directly just use f4 function, and I will show you with an example how does it works, right here only. So same thing as different codes. I'm creating the file. I'm reading into a particular mode. Here I'm reading it just in a read mode, and then here I'm assigning it to a null pointer. So null pointer, what will we do? So you don't have to write null, or just it will just create a or terminate our code part at the 0th location. So we have reserved locations in our memory. So null pointer is that which is a specially reserved location in the stdf file. So in the header file we have our 0th location, and we call it through null function, and after that I am creating one loop to get when the whole thing I have stored in my file. You can see here I have written hello to the C bootcamp, right? So what will happen if I am using f4 function? It will not think where my cursor is, where my pointer is, or I will not assign any particular location to my code part. It will just get me the data completely. If I run this thing, you can see it get terminated after the whole thing. My whole data gets pops up in the console. So that's how you can use f4 function more efficient, and it reduces time also. So you can also use ftl function, but you need to return to the current position of your file pointer. So how this will work, let's see in the code only. So same thing, I have opened my code, I have made the file test.txt, and then I am reading into R mode. After that, I am determining the characters, how much I need to get from the code part. I have just written down, we were talking about continuously without strings. I have just put it here, the numbers that are the integer, and I have stored in my test.txt file. So how I will call it, I will just scan the file, see how my data is there, and then afterward I will print it through ld the number, any integer, the how much long my string is, right? So if I run this, so right, so I have written like I think 1 to 9 digits, so it is printing that your total characters in your string is 9. If I reduce this out like this and then run my code, so here it is changed 4, right? So it will just give me the end position of my string. Through this you can know how much data you have, afterwards how many entries there have been once the file has been accessed. So the number of times the file is being accessed, or the how many entries it getting stored, you can use exact just by applying first of all the fscan function and then printing out through ftell. It will directly tell you the end of your cursor. Okay. So we have our last function here, rewind function. So let's see through the code part only how rewind works. Same. So in our int main function, I have created my file pointer through ftper. Once it is declared, I am assigning it to a location in my memory where I want to store it. So assigning memory can depend how you have chosen your path or not, then the mode part, right? After which I am rewinding ftpr. So what rewind function will do, it will return a file pointer to the beginning of the file. So it will reverse out the whole ftl process and give us the code in the return form. Once I've run it, so here when we are putting appending our data, first of all in the file, afterwards we are calling out the rewind function through in our file pointer ftr. Then in the loop what I am doing is we are getting the information from ftr, our file, and then calling it off, and then we are ending uh, our if function through just by printing end of the file has been reached. Because it this is the information I have already in the store. You will have a lot of data and many entries in your file. After that you need to know when you are going to reach the end. So you will just going by starting, you will need to call it from the back only, and to reverse it out you use rewind function, and just starting not from the beginning, it will directly end in the back. And once it find the end of your string, the stream or anything you are, any entries you have stored, it will directly end up and will desired put print the desired output we want, right? So that's how you can use a rewind function. So talking about all these functions here, right? These all functions depends on you how you have, if you are going to work on a project, then how you are going to create the file, and those entries need to be addressed. Because you cannot just put those entries there and forget about this. Those entries will need to be addressed, written again, and appended or like removed. So you need to learn lot of functions, but it all depends upon what requirements you have in your projects. But you can use just the particular ones, and then uh, you can just use the basics one and then run your code part, it will work smoothly. But it all is helping you, to store a lot of information, keep it in your non-volatile memory, and you can access it afterwards. And those functions we read about in file handling. So coming to the, as I have explained you all these four. So let's see all this and compile what we have learned through one example. So, okay. So here we have one example. I have written one simple code, very basic, and using just simple basic our functions that we have read already. So here again, I'm writing my file and calling it, assigning to a file pointer so that it gets a location assigned in my memory. So that can be one. If I just put it equals to me null, so the zeroth location will be assigned. So it all depends where you want to store, or if you have assigned value, you can store there only. So that's by default only how you are writing your code. Afterward, this is the simple exam I am writing to enter the name, and then the age of the person, and then the salary. So it is one basic RPA module how we use in companies just to get information and keep storing them in a particular data location and create the file. Okay. So here is my file emprc. You can create it, or the code makes it for you. After it, you are opening it. Once you are opened it, you are assigned it to the null location and do everything afterwards. So that file will be called to null location, and then you can access it and everyone can access it. There will be no harm done to the main file only, right? And if I run this part, so this is the simple things. uh, I am asking for user to input your name, then age, and then his salary. So for it we have to use, different functions ki, the salary can be in float format, so I am calling it out through scanning my code through and then storing it to a float format, or in a small integer format, or name will be automatically stored into a string only, right? So if I enter these infos in my, and supposedly it's 5000. So here the code part ends, the file is closed. Our uh, upper info that we have put it will get stored in our file that we have made emprc. And if you will go and check, so what is doing is it is adding my name, age, salary, and these all entries are getting assigned one by one. And once you have a lot of entries here again and again, what all will happen, you will need to know about various other access points or various other functions, so that to access your data, you so as to you know use that data in efficiently, to reduce your operation time just by not putting some loop or anything like that. So that's how you can implement file handling in your uh, code. So uh, after that, I think that compiles our file handling part. If any of you have any doubts, you can raise your question now, and I can also check once the right.
The null value, when you are using the null value, then it will start from the zeroth location, right?
Yeah. So yeah. As I told you, null is like specially reserved location we have. So as you know, we are using stdio.h or std.f file. So these files are the header files, and these files have the zeroth memory location assigned to it that we call null. When we talk it about in a string, so the null location is like the termination point as we are using the functions. But once we are assigning the file pointer, so the file pointer is going to be accessed, and you need to handle it and to keep track of it. So you will keep it in a safe place only. But once you are using in your code, you will assign that to a zeroth location, and that zeroth location will be used each time you are running any function in it, right? So that makes things more easier.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Also at every location we have file pointer associated to the function only. As I have discussed various functions, so these all functions have like file pointers, and if I am opening file, it will need a particular file pointer to declare. Like in the code part I have shown you examples, I'm using star ft ptr. I can directly put this to the null location, it will nothing change the code part. The code will run smoothly, but in the safekeeping process, after the file is getting closed, and if I'm not assigning to it any zeroth location, or the it will keep the entries will not keep on adding on. So that's the difference why we are using that. Any other thing you guys to ask, or any other code I should show you again? You can tell me now. Also, we are going to open our group for doubt sessions only. So you can put any doubt you have for file handling or pointers topic, and I will address you there only. So I think we can summon up our today's 9 day of our boot camp, and Ria, you can take over it.
Thank you, Yogesh sir. Today we are out of time. We will be answering your questions through WhatsApp group or mail. You are requested to fill the feedback form and attempt the quiz in order to receive completion certificate. I want to thank Yogesh sir for taking out time for us and preparing such a nice presentation and clearing our basics. Thank you for such a deep understanding, sir. I also appreciate all the attendees for being part of our bootcamp. Now I would like Aditya to share his screen for the announcement. Aditya,
Yeah, I'm sharing just 1 minute.
no problem.
Yeah, Ria, go ahead.
We are also organizing an interview session with two international speakers from USA. The meeting link and all the details will be issued to you. So please stay tuned. The registration form for the same is in the chat box and you can register yourself there. So please go ahead and all the other information will be there in the WhatsApp groups you are added in. The form link is in the chat. Please do fill out. Thank you.